Hello, hello, hello. Oh, okay. Hello to anyone watching at the moment. I was going to stream a little bit earlier. I was going to stream, earlier in the week. I was going to stream later last week as well, but I just never gotten around to it. So it's almost a week since the last stream. Hello. Hey, we're continuing. Oh, I can hear myself. That is a bad sign. Let's fix that. There we go. Hello there, Cheryl. And hello, Josu. Or is that how you say your name? You should correct me in the chat. Anyway, I've got a few ideas of what we're talking about today. Last time I did the first stream, we didn't really have many topics at hand. I was just kind of winging it, and we're still going to do a little bit of that today. We'll talk about whatever any of you want to talk about in the chat. If you have anything specific you want me to touch on, we'll get on it. I just know there's been some Chris Hansen drama recently, so we'll look at that. There was something with Real Stream News relating to that as well, and also there was a little thing between Repzion and Drama and Opinions on Twitter that I want to look at as well. But if anyone else wants to talk about anything else, then feel free to bring those up as well. And yes, I did shave. I mean, can you call it shaving? It's more of a trim. My facial hair was annoying me a bit, so I just took it off. I had a haircut as well, but my girlfriend cut my hair, but that's just the other day. Barbers and stuff aren't open yet. Everything's closed because of this lockdown. But things should be lifting up soon. It's like the end of the world. Well, not quite. Not anymore. Anyway, we'll wait a couple of minutes just in case anyone else is going to come in here. And hopefully this stream goes a little bit better than the last one. I think the first one went okay. But we'll hopefully make this one go even better. So, how's everyone doing? What stories should we talk about? Anything specific anyone want me to bring up? Just so I can get ready for that. Yeah, RSN, erg. That's my reaction every time I see his name anywhere as well. Such a pain in the ass. Okay. You know what? Let's just start with that. Let's start with that and get that out of the way. Get the Steel Stream News out of the way. You got a notification but not on the YouTube sub page. That's a bit strange. I'm not sure why it wouldn't be sending it out. I know that YouTube for some reason seems to hate when people stream and also post videos on a channel. So if you're someone who consistently posts, say, videos and then try to stream, oftentimes your streams will then underperform. It will harm your channel, and same vice versa. If you're someone who posts streams consistently and then try and post videos, it can then impact your video performance. And it's to do with watch time and stuff, because streams tend to have less watch time, but the people who are watching, I think, watch longer or something. I don't know the full details, but it messes up the way YouTube suggests content. But it should be appearing on the subpage. I don't know why it isn't. So, what are we starting with? Let's pin that tab. Okay. So, here we go. This is Real Stream News on Twitter. Very, very, very angry, as you can see. Angry because people have been talking about Chris Hansen. Angry that people are turning on Chris Hansen because Real Stream News is the most credible person ever, obviously. And he was the one who was the first to call out Hansen. And he thinks everyone else is a snake. You only got notified because you were already watching YouTube, but your notification came to your phone, not showing on YouTube. That's strange. Very bizarre. I wish it would just send notifications to everyone. It's a real pain in the ass. Do you have my notifications turned on, that little alarm bell? I think if you hit the bell, I think there's two options. I think there's one that's some notifications and one for notify me about everything. And I think maybe that has something to do with it, but I'm not entirely sure. But either way, it should still pop up on the YouTube subscription page. Anyway, we're going to read this twit longer from Real Stream News because I'm sure this is fantastic. At Zilla Rage, so Repzilla, at Creepshowart, Repzion, Tamimi, John Swan, Edwin, and Mike Actor All you bigger channels that are fake as fuck covering Chris Hansen now. Snakes. Can you just imagine him sitting here writing that out? Like, I'm just thinking about that. I'm just thinking about him actually typing this out. How angry he must have been sitting in his room on his bed or something, on his phone or on his computer, typing this out. How angry he was. Bah! Oh. I just mashed my keyboard and... Okay, that was... Okay. Let's not mash my keyboard. Okay. Backpedaling, backpedaling, backpedaling. Something looks wrong about that. Maybe it's the fact that he capitalized the B in all those. Anyway. All the people who spoke about... No, I can't speak. This is what really reading RSN statements does to me. It makes my brain fart and hiccup and I can't actually read what I'm reading. All the people who spoke out about Hansen early. It's not rocket surgery. Not rocket surgery? What? It's not rocket surgery? I think he means rocket science. The phrase is, it's not rocket science. And he's saying it's not rocket surgery? What is going on here? Is his brain really that fried? It's not rocket surgery. Who does surgery on a rocket? What are you talking about? It would either be it's not brain surgery or it's not rocket science. I am perplexed already. Rocket surgery? Okay. Rocket Stream News. Let's go. Okay. Baked Salmon, Wes Most, Nicholas DeOrio, Drunken Peasants, myself, and a few other small creators told it how it really was while... Full stop. While full... Did he type this out with speech to text or something? Like, that's the only thing I can think of here, but I honestly doubt it. Repzion, Repzilla, Edwin's Generation, Tamimi, Creepshow Art, Mike and Actor, John Swan, and Pescator sat and knew about Chris Hansen's past! Exclamation point. How did they know? We all told them. They sat there and pushed a bullshit narrative. He's acting as though he was credible and was talking about all this stuff. How about he knew the truth about Chris Hansen? And that no one else believed him. No one else would listen to him. But we'll get to that in a minute. All in the hopes of getting on Chris Hansen's show for clout and money. We'll get to that in a second as well. These people acted like the FBI was actually going to arrest Onision, or they had some inside source that never existed. These creators are nothing but YouTube leeches. They act like they have credibility, but in reality most of them just take our content and regurgitate it with their face on it. Regurgitate your content? No one wants to regurgitate real stream news. Why would anyone regurgitate real stream news? What the hell? Oh, Rocket Surgery is a channel? Now I feel a bit stupid. Thank you for... See, this is kind of the issue, because he's typed it out in such poor grammar. Like, it's such poor grammar. And that you can't tell. It's not rocket surgery. That is a statement. How is he wording this? It's not rocket surgery? That sounds like he's meaning to say it's not rocket science. I didn't know rocket surgery was a channel. Maybe if he had worded this better, it'd make more sense. But thank you for that clarification. Anyway, why would someone regurgitate real stream? What does he do that's original that he could regurgitate? Does he make points? Does he make original points? All he does is sit there and vape. He sits there and vapes and he talks a lot of crap and he complains and does whatever else he does, dozes off half the time. Like, what is being regurgitated? Like, he's acting as though someone's stealing his content or his points or something. I don't think he's ever made an original point in his life. Yeah, he is demented. Anyway, where was I? Regurgitate it with their face on it and try to seem like they had the scoop all along. Yeah, because you had the scoop, buddy. These are the same people were dying to get on Hansen's channel in streams. You know, I don't think he knows what the word "and" is. Can someone teach him that the word and exists and that you don't just have to write the letter N. Like, he does this all the time. It's always n. Hello, n stuff. What do you want for breakfast? Bacon, n eggs. My lord. Now they are ripping him apart because they aren't going to get a piece of the pie. Watch the Chris Hansen documentaries come out from the same people who attacked smaller channels like myself, who did all the research on Hansen, Mike Morse and Vincent Nicotra 6 to 9 months back and told you all the truth. We weren't credible then, but somehow now they are after. That's the end of the screenshot. His thing's cut off here. This is just a screenshot, obviously. I'm blocked, and I'm too lazy to set up the screen share to capture a different window, so that's where we're stopping that statement. But you get the point. But can we just talk for a second about what he's actually saying here? He's talking... my God. Right. They're ripping him apart because they aren't going to get a piece of the pie. Watch the documentaries come from the same people who attacked this smaller channel like myself. People were only attacking Real Stream News. Who was attacking any other channel that was really talking about Hansen? I mean, some people on Twitter were saying, oh, you can't be talking against Hansen or you're just defending Oniso. Yeah, some people were. But people were specifically ignoring or criticizing RSN because RSN is a scumbag who has no credibility in the first place. People decided to give Chris Hansen a chance because people see, oh look, this mainstream guy has come to YouTube and he has set his sights on this high-profile YouTube case Onision. So people thought, let's give the man a chance. And I think that was fair. Once it became apparent that people were losing faith and Hansen didn't have so much credibility and whatever else, or he was maybe milking things, public opinion started to turn. Understandably so. And with that, people stopped giving him a chance. That's what happened. It's nothing to do with people not getting a piece of the pie. Let me just talk for a second about RSN at the start of this, right? When this Chris Hansen stuff started, RSN was all on the Chris Hansen side. 100%. You know when he stopped? You know when he turned against Hansen? It was when I got on Hansen's show, when he didn't. RSN was mad that I was getting on Hansen's show and he wasn't. And at the same time, I was talking to Vincent and I was talking to people because I had some drama going wrong. I had some drama going on at the same time. And Chris and Vincent both asked me about it because it was to do with RSN actually spreading false information about me, along with someone else was assisting him with that, giving him the information that was false, spreading conspiracies about me. And that's when I turned Chris and Vincent's attention to RSN, and it was at that moment that RSN actually turned on the two of them because he was desperate to get on the show. RSN was desperate to be on Hansen's show. Until I was on the show and Vincent started bad-mouthing him on Twitter. And now RSN wants to act as though he knew Chris Hansen was horrible all along and he never wanted part of that. Shut up. What are you talking about? RSN is delusional. Anyway, let me catch up on this chat. Honestly, I'm not even angry. I'm just... It's so ridiculous. I don't know if he believes the things he's saying or not. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. He is that stupid. Haha, I can imagine him snapping about 70 vape pens writing this in his bollocks opinion. Yeah. RSN is 100% jealous. Yeah, RSN wanted a piece of Hansen, and that was... He wanted on the show, and that's all I'm going to really say. This whole statement from him here is the most ridiculous thing. That is just... He's rewriting history. Like, he doesn't... It makes no sense at all. Oh no, a bunch of people wanted to give Chris Hansen a chance and trusted him not to screw everyone over. CJ, you're not the pinnacle of credibility or morality. The only reason why you were ever mad at Hansen is because you're a predator too. Mic drop. That's a perfect tweet. That is a perfect tweet. Yeah. let's move on to Hansen then, shall we? Again, if there's anything else you guys want me to bring up, we will talk about it. But we're done with RSN now. We will move on to what's going on with Chris Hansen. Okay, so I lost the tweet. The page refreshed. Where'd it go? Is it even here anymore? Oh, that's the John Swan tweets. Don't know where the tweets went. Anyway, so yeah, Chris Hansen, I'm sure you're all aware. There's this whole thing where he apparently sold the rights to the Onision story. That came out in an article that the article later corrected. But it turns out that he has been in talks to make an Onision-focused TV show. That is basically what's going on right now. And people are very angry. One, because they do not believe that certain victims, alleged victims and whatever, were included in this process. Now, I'm not read up enough on this at the moment to say yes or no, that's true. I'm not 100% caught up on that, but I have not seen any evidence of anyone saying, yes, I was included in this, so I can't confirm or deny. Anyway, people are angry because it kind of shows that Chris Hansen is maybe only in this to relaunch his TV career. And that's something that people have been saying for a long time. People have been saying that perhaps Chris Hansen, he's been disgraced from television. His show was cancelled. Networks wouldn't take him. He's got all this debt. I do encourage you to watch John Swan's latest video, the first part of his documentary series. It's very informative. Some of it is very old and maybe isn't so relevant at the moment, but it is all quite factual, and I do recommend watching it. It's very informative. And it kind of shows you how Hansen ended up on YouTube. He ended up on YouTube because he couldn't be on TV anymore. He didn't have any shows going on. His show was cancelled. And so he moved to YouTube, and it seems as though he's on YouTube with all this debt, and it's a way to make money and also to use as a stepping stone to get back to television. And with this confirmation that Hansen is in talks to doing this the show, it kind of proves that yes, this is a stepping stone for Chris Hansen. It's not what Chris Hansen really wants to be doing. What he wants to be doing is on TV. And in this interview, let me find where this went. I just had it a second ago. Maybe it's in here. Yeah, here we go. John Swan linked it here. Some say it's more important to be on YouTube than television, Hansen tells me, envisioning his new development model to be incubating stories on YouTube before bringing them to television. So in this interview, Chris Hansen has basically said his idea, what he wants to do, is use YouTube to essentially build interest in a story. Maybe to do the research type part, to do the groundwork. He wants to lay the groundwork on his YouTube channel, and then he wants to take that onto television. And that makes a lot of sense. I actually think that's quite a smart idea. It's quite an interesting idea. I definitely don't actually fault that. What I do fault, however, is Chris Hansen sensationalizing certain things and issuing a lot of false promises and seeming to have a lot of false pretenses and being quite dishonest with his motivations here. Chris Hansen has been very much saying that he's in this to get justice for victims. He's in this for justice. He's in this for this. Onision is going to jail. Onision will be in a prison cell. The FBI are looking into it. This is what is happening non-stop. And we can all acknowledge, I'm sure in this chat, everyone watching this, we can all acknowledge Onision's a piece of shit. Onision deserves all the backlash he gets. I'm sure we all agree with that. No one's defending Onision here. But Onision's not going to jail. Does anyone in the chat think Onision's going to jail over this stuff? Like, I don't think he is. Like, clearly, he's a piece of shit. He's clearly treated people badly. He's clearly abused certain people. He has done all sorts of horrible shit. But he's always been kind of skirting on the line of the law. And I don't see how he's going to jail over any of this. If he was going to jail, I feel like it would have been done by now. I don't think he'd be sitting there. I mean, what are we? Are we approaching a year since this started? A year later and nothing has been done? The police haven't arrested him? Like, that's ridiculous. Clearly he's not going to jail at this point. There's nothing on him. The most damning thing was against Kai, actually. And if that was true. Because it was said that Kai had exchanged nude images with Sarah while Sarah was underage. And if there is proof of that, which people have said there is, I don't know truly if there is or not, but I did believe there was for a time, then sure, she could get in trouble. But is she going to go to jail for one little image or whatever? I don't see her going to jail for that either. Sure, it's illegal. Sure, she could be charged. But again, I don't see either of them getting locked up for a long time over any of this. I did at one point think they would get convicted, maybe not prison, but a conviction of some kind. Now it's apparent that if anyone is, it'll be Kai, not Onion Boy. Yeah, I agree. It was always going to be Kai, I thought. I never thought Onision was in any trouble, honestly. And that's because I do believe Onision groomed Sarah. I do believe that was grooming. The problem is, grooming technically is not illegal in the United States. It's not actually illegal. If that exact same case was in the UK, he could have been prosecuted for the simple act of grooming. However, grooming in of itself is not inherently always an illegal act in the United States. So there are some issues there legally. Although I'm no expert on the law or whatever. I'm just going off of what I actually have read and what I've understood. I could have little details wrong, but I do believe that is the case. Yeah, so Onision would be in jail if that was happening, and that's the problem with Hansen and what Hansen's doing. Is he's making these false promises. He's saying, okay, we're going to put this person in jail, when in reality, Onision's not going to jail. It's just not happening. He's not going to jail. And at the same time, he's saying, oh, we're in this for the victims. And he is genuinely making people believe that Onision is going to jail. Lots of people, I'm sure some of you, I did kind of at one point thought, oh, maybe Onision will go to jail. It's Hansen. He's this mainstream guy. He's like a powerhouse. He's coming in here against the Predator. He's going to get him. But when you actually think about it and you look at the legalities and all the rest of it, it's like, it's all sensationalism. It's all just for drama and entertainment and to make money. And for Hansen to then springboard his career back to television. And that's what people are angry about, because all the pieces have kind of come together now that that interview came out. And Hansen has confirmed that yes, he is in talks to going to TV. Because I agree, as I just said earlier, it is a smart move to go to TV. I think it's a smart move to incubate your stories on YouTube and then take them to television. I think it's a very smart model and I think it could work. But the problem is Chris Hansen having a false front, being very false with his intentions and making false promises. Those are the issues I have. And as I said in the John Swan video that went up, I did a little interview with John Swan. I think I'm around the 30-minute mark if you want to skip to what I said. I done a little interview with him and I was just speaking about how my experience with Hansen when I was on Hansen's show. And basically my main thing was that I found Hansen behind the scenes was pushing an agenda. He pushes himself as this investigative reporter. And that's what it seems at first, but when I'm speaking to him, he wasn't unbiased at all. I was talking to him in a pre-interview with Vincent, and he says, tomorrow when we do the live show, I really, really want to focus on this aspect of Onision being a cult leader. I really want to hit home on that, and I'm just thinking, okay, I understand maybe investigating that, but to actually push that point, push that narrative, I think that shows that you're not being unbiased there. You're not being an investigative journalist at that point. You're operating with an agenda. You're trying to push a certain narrative. And I had an issue with that. Anyway, nobody watches TV though. Well, we might not watch TV. I don't watch TV. The only sort of shows I watch is on Netflix or other streaming services. I don't have any sort of TV access other than that at home. And I think that's a growing thing with a lot of younger generations. In the past, certainly, people had TV all the time. And it's certainly still a thing for older people, middle-aged people, whatever. All those people certainly watch TV. But people online, we don't really. So I think there's an issue wherein the target audience for who would be watching the TV show is different from who would be watching on YouTube. So people might not actually be happy with the TV show. I think it may just be misinterpreted. The law makes it extremely hard to come out against an annoying individual without straight physical proof. FBI probably don't want to deal with Onion either. Yeah, I mean, things are very, very hard to prove. It's very, very hard to prove stuff like grooming or whatever else. You need to have, for one, I would imagine you need to have like chat logs if it was something online. But even then, I think it's something that's such a grey area. Especially in the US, where straight up grooming, for example, is not inherently a crime. Yes, it's illegal to have sex with someone who's under the age, or it's illegal to send and receive pictures with minors, but the actual grooming aspect, it's a really hard thing to just straight up define. I mean, it's preparing someone for sex or for a relationship when they hit the legal age, and I think that's a really, really hard thing to prove. Yeah, sports is still a big thing for TV. That's probably one of the biggest things TV still has going for it. If TV picks up the Onion story, it won't help take him down. It would glamorize him to the women and girls that like men aren't good enough for them, like the women that wanted Chris Watts even though. Yeah, I'm not sure the TV show would do much at all. I mean, the story has been told. What is left to tell? I mean, Chris Hansen is trying to say that it brings it to a wider audience. But what does bringing it to a wider audience even do? Like, I understand bringing it to a wider audience on YouTube so that people on YouTube and younger people are aware of who Onision is and they don't fall into any of the same traps and end up, say, being the next young girl involved with Onision. I can understand that. But when you're talking about television, it's a completely different target audience as we just spoke about. People who are watching television aren't the same people who are going to be susceptible to being caught up by Onision because it's older people. You're not having it's not these teens who are sitting there watching the TV in the mid-afternoon. That's not what they're doing. They're sitting on YouTube. So really the best way to raise awareness and to help with this is to spread it on YouTube. As you're saying, Amber, he's famous on YouTube. Let's keep it that way. And I think that is how it should be. I mean, when you start bringing it into real life, you're just raising his profile, especially when you consider the fact that the man isn't going to jail. The man's not going to jail. Not unless it comes out that there's something 100% provable that is completely illegal and is going to send him to jail. Unless that comes out, he's not going to jail. And by putting him on TV, all you're actually doing is bringing more awareness to him. Getting him more views. You're just going to make him more money and give him more relevancy. I mean, that's been a big thing for years. Onision's channels would have died a lot sooner, probably, if there was less consistent hate against him. I've always thought that. I've always thought that he's made a lot of money over the years from outrage, and I think he knows that as well. I think in the past he has made a lot of videos and stuff and said things that he truly doesn't even believe. I mean, I'm not talking about the whole stuff with relationships and abuse and grooming. That's all horrible, obviously, and that's not made up. That's all real. But I mean, certain things he would say in videos, like outrageous opinions and his Twitter meltdowns and all, that stuff, I think the majority of it is him purposely trying to stir up outrage. And it's because he knows that so many people will be outraged at him. And I think he's made so much money from that. So I don't see how a TV show is going to help do anything other than bring more attention to him. Hello, Ali. Anyway, we're done with Chris Hansen. What are we moving on to next? There's a thing right now. What else did I put in the description of this? Description? Okay. I wrote drama, Hansen, RSN, Repzion, and more. Okay, we already did RSN at the start. We just covered Chris Hansen. We'll go over the Repzion thing then that's been going on. There's a thing, I don't know if you're aware, there's a thing with Repzion on Twitter. He's been arguing with Drama and Opinions, also known as Magdarl. And yeah, so we're going to have a little rundown of that. So if there's anything else you guys want to speak about, I'm going to be on here maybe another half hour, 20 minutes to half hour. So bring it up and I'll try and get to it before I stop. So Repzion let's find the video. There's a video that's quite important to watch so we can understand the context of what's going on here. Basically, Onision is being accused of being a racist. So I will play this video for you now. This video is from 4 years ago, January 2nd, 2016. Here's the video.
First, apartment advice. Oh, I can give you plenty of apartment advice. Do not, under any circumstance, move into an apartment that is filled with, can I say it on stream? I'm going to be racist if I say this, minorities. Not that there's anything wrong with minorities, but I moved into a low-income housing apartment, and I was the minority. And I actually got to experience what it was like to be a minority around there. And it wasn't that bad, but what was bad about the apartment that I lived at, my old apartment, is the fact that I felt like I was in Africa again. I opened my door, and there's kids of all different faiths and religion running around, pounding on other people's doors, not speaking any English, which is fine. I don't care if they don't speak English, but they're just really disrespectful. I had kids pissing, and some kids were even pooped. I'm not joking. In the apartment hallways, like, it was absolutely atrocious. Then I had my crazy, druggy neighbors in front of me who were always screaming, and I made a video on my side channel, actually. I recorded their conversation of them just screaming back and forth, nigga, 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 don't you talk to that nigga, that bitch is blah, 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 and they used, like, that word, like, 5,000 times in 10 minutes. People didn't like it when I did that, but, you know, I wanted to show people that I lived in the actual ghetto. Like, I wish I could have shown you the people around my environment, because you would have been scared out of your life. I was scared out of my life. It was terrifying. I had people who would knock at my fucking door at 2 o'clock in the morning, knock at my door, and then when I would look through the little pee hole to see who was out there, they'd be, like, standing at the side of the door, like, waiting for me to open it so they could, like, put a knife to my goddamn throat or something. It's terrifying.
Okay. So, anyone think Repzion's racist? Do you think he's racist? Do you think he's not racist? What are we thinking in the chat? Do you think that shows Repzion as a racist? And if you do think that was a bad thing for him to say, do you think that does that change your opinion of Repzion? Yeah, I agree, Peaches. I don't think it's necessarily racist. People might have issues with his attitude there or whatever, but I don't find it racist. Anyway, the issue here is what happened afterwards. They had a conversation on Twitter. Obviously, this was all going on still, and Repzion misspoke, and he basically said that, I'm paraphrasing here, he basically said Africa when referring to Morocco, saying about how it was horrible to live in Morocco, but he said don't live in Africa, essentially. It was something like that. That's basically what happened here. And people, specifically Drama and Opinions here and many others, are saying that now Repzion is speaking badly about the entirety of Africa based on his experience in one place. And that makes him a racist. I'm honestly done. I agree with what you're saying in the chat. I don't know how we even say your name. Fucked with a V. I agree. I'm over people getting called racist all the time. Yes, I agree. It's more American ignorance than anything. I don't have anything against Drama and Opinions, but I think this is a ridiculous thing to go after. I feel like this is just clutching at straws, honestly. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why people are so upset about this. Yeah, so I saw the thing with Repzion's girlfriend. I'm gonna leave that for now. I'm not so read up on all this Repzion stuff. I just saw this morning, and I was just curious as to what people were thinking about this when you saw it as well, because I've not seen too much of it. I just saw a few bits. I was scrolling this morning, and I'm like, this is a bit strange. Why are people calling him racist over this? I mean, at most you could say, okay, maybe that wasn't the greatest thing of him to say. Maybe he was a bit ignorant or something. Maybe that's the most you could say. But to actually specifically say he's being racist, I think That's a stretch. Yeah, I agree with that, Alyssa. Anyone who has the ability to explode with anger has the same ability to be racist. I agree. I think there is a difference. I mean, here's me explaining racism. I'm not trying to do that. But I think there's a difference between people who say horrible things that are perceived as racist and that person actually being a racist. People say horrible things all the time. It doesn't mean that they are inherently feeling that way. For example, I could make an off-colored joke about women or something. Does that suddenly make me sexist? Okay, I said something that was sexist, but does that make me sexist? I think there's a difference there. For example, I can say right now, women belong in the kitchen. Okay? I don't believe that, but I just said it. It wasn't even a joke. I just said the statement. Does that now make me a sexist because I said that statement? Of course not. I made a sexist statement, but I am not sexist. And I think it's a fine line. I will admit it's a fine line, but I think there is a difference there. We did discuss the RSN things, but I'm happy to bring it back up a little bit more. But I do encourage you, if you want the RSN stuff, then go back to the beginning of this stream once it's over, because I was just going off on a little rant about how stupid he was, honestly, and there was a statement he put out because he was angry that people are finally going against Hansen and he's not getting the credit for it and all the rest of it. So, yeah, I agree, Nora. It depends how often. Yeah, if you're consistently making statements like women belong in the kitchen, then there might be a little bit of truth there to what you're actually believing. I think the regularity of what you're saying, it really matters. But for me, I'm always an intent guy, and I think intent matters above all else. I don't really care much about what people are actually doing. I care about what they intended. Like, obviously, people can still do bad things when they intended for good things to happen, and they should still be held accountable. But I think the most important thing is intent. What did someone mean by something? Did someone mean to hate? Did someone mean to be hateful? Did someone mean to be hurtful? Did someone mean to do something bad? Or is it just a misunderstanding? Is it just ignorance? Because there is a huge difference. There's a difference between someone who has hate in their heart and hates people of a different race or creed or whatever it is, and someone who maybe just says something and doesn't have that same intent of being hurtful and hateful. There is a huge difference, and I think intent is very, very important. Because people just assume intent, and people are conflating constantly intent with what happens, and they're not the same thing. People do bad things while meaning good, and people do good things while meaning bad. Selfish people can seem to be generous at times, but they're doing whatever the selfless thing is for their own selfish need. And I think it's very important you look at the intent. Very important. And yes, I agree with you, Cheryl. We need to stop just calling people a racist for one little comment that's been made or whatever. I think when you call someone a name, whether it's a racist, a sexist, a homophobe, a predator, anything, that is a very, very damning thing to say about someone. That is an attack on someone's character. And I think that it's better to give someone the benefit of the doubt and listen first before you jump immediately to accusing them of all these heinous things. Someone makes a slip up and says something that seems not very nice, seems not very good. I don't think your first thing there should be saying, oh, he's a racist, oh, he's a sex. What you should be doing is thinking, okay, what did you actually mean by that? We shouldn't be applying our own thoughts to that person. We should be asking questions. We should be saying, what did you actually mean by that? We shouldn't be so accusatory about things. If someone messes up, give them the benefit of the doubt. Ask them. Say, okay, you said this thing. I thought it was a bit sexist. But do you actually think that? Are you sexist? What are you meaning by that? have a little bit of a conversation with them. I guarantee you, in most cases, you're probably going to come to an understanding, and what you're really arguing about is semantics. You're arguing about maybe a misuse of words or language. That's where most of the confusion comes from and the hatred comes from. I think you just need to be tolerant, I think. Yeah, I think the majority of it does seem to be from people virtue signaling. It's a lot of white people and white guilt type thing, thinking, oh, look at me, how woke I am because I'm hating other white people type thing. That's certainly a big part of it. That happens all the time. Meanwhile, a lot of these people are actually the ones who are the worst for being the racist and whatever behind closed doors. I don't know. I think it's, to me, the most important thing is being actually able to have these conversations. I'm glad you guys are all quite receptive to this conversation, because so many times you try and have these conversations, and even suggesting anything out of the ordinary or that goes against the main view, it's like people just get so upset about everything. People are so sensitive. And I don't blame people for being sensitive. I mean, you can be sensitive. That's not a crime. But people get so angry over everything. And I had a rant about this in the last stream I did and on Twitter not long ago. And it's just so annoying. It's just, I can't be bothered with all the negativity over nothing. If you're going to be angry at people who are predators. Be angry at people who have actually committed crimes, not people who have misused words or made shitty jokes 6 years ago. Who cares about those people? Go after the actual pieces of shit. Who cares about what some 12-year-old said on Twitter when, like, 15 years ago or something? Who cares? Why are we ruining people's lives over this? Why are we trying to cancel people over what they said at a party 30 years ago? Like, I don't understand why people care so much about that stuff. When, in reality, you actually have actual racists out there who are actually campaigning to kill other people, or there's actually slavery going on in other countries, and I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm just ranting, but you get what I'm saying. There are actual causes people can go for that really could be solved and could use the help and whatever, but people just don't want to focus on them. It's like, I always used to use the example of, I always thought that third wave feminism would be much more appropriate in places in the Middle East where women are often subjugated and don't have the same rights as men. Obviously, first wave feminism and all the rest of it, that was a great thing and it helped get equal rights and all the rest of it. But you've got all these Twitter feminists now, and what are they doing? They're just complaining. I think that's something I think their movement would be much better in somewhere else where it can make more of an impact. Somewhere like, I don't know, Saudi Arabia or something, where women are actually treated as second-class citizens. I think people are so focused on little things. We forget how easy we have it these days. People are concerned about some dude on Twitter saying something out of character years ago because they have the privilege of that. They're not remembering that there are other places in the world where people have things really, really shitty. Or there are other people even in your own country or your own neighborhood who have got things really, really shitty. They're actually dealing with some really bad stuff. You're calling someone out on Twitter for using the N-word when they were 10 or something. Meanwhile, there's some black person down your street who's getting beat up for being black, but no one's going after that guy. I think people need to get their priorities straight. And instead of going after kids on Twitter or people who are saying stupid things, you need to go after people who are actually doing bad things. I'm just waiting now for someone to take what I'm saying here out of context. And it would just exemplify what I'm saying, because people could easily be, I don't know what I'm trying to say. People could easily turn this into, oh, now he's racist for saying this, and oh, he's defending these kids for saying the N-word and all the rest. But that's not what I'm doing. Of course, and anyone who's reasonable knows that's not what I'm doing. But that's the kind of thing that happens all the time. People take these clips out of context and they go and they use them, and then, oh, you're cancelled. Meanwhile, there are actually people out there who are committing hate crimes and beating people up based on their colour of their skin and sending them death threats and all the rest of it, and those people aren't getting the same attention on them. Oh Lord, why did you have to bring that up waiting on Elvis? When Onion is shoving things up his bum for coin on OnlyFans. I heard about that. I am so glad no one has showed me that. Because I've seen so many leaks so far. People have been sending me like pictures of Onision's dick when it first leaked. And I was like, why did I have to see this? Thank you for ruining my life. Thank you. Thank you for stopping me having a good night's sleep tonight. Yeah, I don't want to see this dildo thing, but honestly, I'm probably going to get sent it by someone. I'm going to see it against my will. I do not consent to being sent that. Anyway, I think this has been a good stream. This has been a fun stream. Had a good little talk here. I'm going to end in a couple of minutes. If there's anything else you guys want me to quickly go over, now is the time to bring it up. But I do want to encourage you, check out all the links in the description down below. Follow me on social media, all the rest of it. Yeah, Onision seems to have just fled to OnlyFans. Anyway, I'm glad you guys seem to be enjoying this stream. This one was certainly better than the one I did the other day. I think it's gone better. We've got a bit more viewers in here. I think it helped that I actually put some stories in the title. I think I'll continue doing this. I enjoy the chill atmosphere here. It's much more chill. It's a good vibe. I think that's good. I'm very much against anger. I'm not big on anger when you come to drama stories, and I think that's maybe a difference between me and some others who cover some drama. So many people make drama videos and they're so angry, and it's, oh, we're cancelling this person. I'm so angry about this. But I think you have to be calm. You have to be mature, and you have to just be real about things. We don't need to be so angry all the time. We need to be reasonable. And sometimes we'll disagree. Sometimes you guys might completely disagree with everything I'm saying, and that's fine. It's normal to disagree. If you agree with everything I'm saying, then there's probably something wrong. Anyway, Daddy Chris should get OnlyFans. Let's not. I do not want to see Chris Hansen on OnlyFans. Thank you for that image, Peaches. Thanks a lot. Anyway, thank you for watching. Check out my links in the description down below. I will be back, hopefully sometime soon, with another stream, because I am enjoying these streams. Until next time, goodbye.